it's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 6, Episode 21. The episode starts off with Gary and Hayden outside of Hayden's house, and Hayden is still in denial about the information that Gary just told him about Fatima setting him up. It's like, so you mean to tell me that Fatima set me up? I don't think she would do that. Gary's like, Hayden, I'm telling you the truth. Hayden's like, you actually really foul for coming over here like this. Gary's like, what did I do to you? Gary's like, so you're mad at me for vetting her? Hayden's like, actually what I said was I would vet her. Gary's like, you did say that, but you didn't find this information. Hayden's like, I didn't find it because I know it's not true. Then Gary calls Tamar out of her name, and then Hayden's like, don't call her that. Gary's like, look, I don't have enough time for your emotional BS. Get the annulment while you still can. Hayden's like, are you serious? I actually think you're enjoying it. You couldn't wait to come over here and tell me. I think what it is you mad at your Andi situation, and you had to come over here and mess mine up. Gary's like, you shouldn't be mad at me, you should be mad at Fatima, and why don't you go in the office and ask her? Hayden's like, I don't have to do that. Gary's like, the only reason you saying that is because you don't want to know the truth. Then Gary tells Hayden about his attachment to women. Hayden gets offended and he's like, I think you should find a new tax lawyer. Gary's like, are you serious? Hayden's like, yeah, and you can see your way off my property. Then we see Hayden going back in the house to approach Tamar, and Tamar can notice that his mood has changed. So she's like, what's wrong? Hayden's like, I'm fine. Tamar's like, you don't look fine. Hayden's like, I have to ask you something. Tamar's like, what? Hayden's like, do you know Fatima? Tamar obviously says no, and then Hayden's like, Fatima Wilson, do you know? Tamar's like, who is that? Hayden's like, so you don't know her. Tamar's basically like, that was the girl I heard you on the phone with. Fatima Wilson is a very uncommon name. Hayden's like, well, I talked to Gary and his PI said you do know her. Tamar's like, speaking of Gary, I've been meaning to talk to you about. Hayden's like, what about him? Tamar's like, he's not a happy person. Andy's not your friend, and Hayden's like, you think so? Yes, cause he doesn't want to see you happy. Hayden's like, and you do? Tamar's like, yes, I do. Tamar's like, don't I make you happy? Hayden's like, you did. Tamar's like, you need to correct that and say I do. Hayden's like, no, I don't. Tamar's like, I know a way that could make you happy right now. Hayden's like, you know what? Even if we do that, I'ma still need answers. Tamar tells Hayden that she doesn't know what he's talking about. Hayden's like, you lying. Hayden's like, look, you think I'm this nice guy and all, but let me find out you lying. All hell's gonna break loose and it won't be nice for anybody. Tamar's like, don't threaten me. I'm not lying to you. Tamar's like, you know what? I'ma just leave, and when I leave, I'm not coming back. Hayden's like, good, so we can get this annulment signed. Tamara basically says, so you believe him? Hayden's like, yeah, I believe him. I know him, I don't know you. That's when he walks over to the table and he's like, sign them. Tamara's like, what's this? Hayden's like, the annulment papers. Hayden's like, sign them. Tamara's like, I'm not signing them. Tamara gives this incredible sob story that sounds very believable. Like, you gonna believe Gary over me, and you're gonna throw up all of what we had away. Hayden threatens her to sign them again, and Tamara's like, look, what you're short, scrawny, behind. I'm not as dumb as you think. I know a lot about me. I'm gonna take you for half of everything you got. Hayden's like, I know you're a little slow. You do know that I'm a lawyer, right? Tamara's like, yeah, I know, and I know a lot of lawyers too. I screwed them very well. Hayden's like, so you're that person? Tamara's like, yeah, and you're that person too. Hayden asked her again, did Fatima set this up? Tamara's like, I don't know, Fatima, but you're a weak scrawny. Work, cause you're gonna need all that money, babe. Then we see Sabrina, and she's there meeting up with her boss for lunch, and she asked her boss, how are you? And the boss says, I should be asking you how you are. Sabrina's like, I'd be good if I can get my job back. The boss tells her, well, you're unlucky. You're going to get your job back, but we're moving you to a different location. We're going to move you downtown. Her boss is like, you can start on Monday. Sabrina's like, yes, but what about Maurice? The boss is like, he's not coming back. Sabrina's like, you do know he was innocent, right? The boss is like, yeah, we know, but he was also the reason the bank got robbed. He brought Q into his home. Sabrina's like, that's a personal. Her boss is like, yeah, and it's also a liability. Sabrina's like, well, are you at least going to tell him that you're not giving him his job back? The boss is like, no, but since y'all friends, I was hoping you could. The boss is like, enough about him. Let's go get some coffee and I could talk to you more about your position. Over at the law firm, we see Zach and Fatima talking as they're waiting for the lawyer to come out to tell them what happened with Michael's custody case. Zach and Fatima are just talking, and Zach asked Fatima, how is she cool with all this? Fatima's like, I told you once and I'll tell you again. What happened before me, I'm no longer concerned about. It's all about what you do with me now. Zach is really nervous and he thanks her. That's when the lawyer shows up because Fatima told Zach that he was coming off the elevator. He comes over to them and Zach is like, so how did it go? The lawyer's like, it didn't go good. Zach is like, I guess they didn't have enough evidence from the calls with Child Protective Services. And Fatima's like, well, what about the neighbor? The lawyer's like, the judge didn't want to hear. There's like, be patient. Zach is like, that's easy for you to say when it's not your son. The lawyer is like, it might not be my son, but that doesn't mean I don't care about him. Fatima's like, is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that Zach can do? The lawyer says no, all you can do is wait. Zach's like, Michael ain't got time to. But then Zach apologizes about his attitude, and then that's when the lawyer leaves. That's when Hayden shows up and he's like, Fatima, at the top of his lungs, and Zach is like, hey yo, what's your problem? Fatima's like, Hayden, today is not the day or the time for your BS. Hayden's like, so you like playing with my emotions in my life? Fatima's like, who you talking to? Hayden's like, I'm talking to you. Zach is like, Fatima back. Zach is like, somebody better get him before I do. Fatima's like, Hayden, I don't even know what you're talking about. Hayden's like, I know that you know her, and I know that you set it up. Fatima's like, what are you talking about? Then that's when Andi walks in and she's like, Hayden, get out their face. I know you troll. Zach is like, thank you, Andi, because I was about 2 seconds from beating him up. Hayden's like, Andi, so you in on this too? Andi's like, in on what? Hayden's like, just so y'all know, y'all opened a new can of worms. That's when Fatima and Andi are just left there talking, and Andi's like, what was that about? Fatima's like, I think he knows. Andi's like, that's not good. Fatima's like, I don't care, he started it first. Andi's like, but you know how petty he can be, and Fatima's like, I don't care. You just better stay on my way today, cause today is not a good day to mess with me. Andi's like, enough about me, let's get back to work. Fatima's like, I don't think that'll be happening, because Jordan's here to take you to lunch. Andi's like, time must have got away from me, but I'll be back. Then we see Jordan coming up to Andi to greet her, to take her to lunch. And he's like, you have a nice office. He's like, I'll have one of my own one day. Jordan's like, I don't doubt that. You ready to go? Then they leave to go to lunch. Then we see Karen and Brian, and they're together looking at the potential space for Karen's new salon. Brian's like, how do you like the place? And Karen's like, I like the place, but what about the down payment? Brian's like, don't worry about it. I know the owner. Brian's helping Karen map out her vision of where things could be placed for the new salon. And he's like, all you need is a little plaster here and a plaster there, and you will be okay. I know somebody that could have this done in 4 months. Karen is still asking about the price, and Brian's like, it's the same price of what you are paying for rent at your current salon. Brian's like, don't you want to be one of those women that say you own your salon? And Karen's like, of course I do. Brian's like, you know what, you remind me a lot of my mother. Karen's like, how so? Brian says she's very hardworking and she's very determined. Then this is where he lost me, because he goes into giving her the words of affirmation that Viola Davis was giving a little girl in the Hope. You're caring, you're patient, and you're... Brian, let me ask you something. Why are you telling this to a woman that you only know on a professional level? And why are you telling her that you're going to take her to meet your mom? Like, this doesn't seem professional to me at all. And Brian, you start asking her about her child's father, and she says, asking if the child's father was in the baby's life. And Karen's like, it is sometimes. He is sometimes. And Brian was like, if you ever need help, just lean on me and my wife. And Karen's like, I'm actually taking you up on that offer. I'm like, Karen, you don't even know this man from a can of paint, and you're taking his offer to help you with your baby? He might be trying to steal it from you. Karen, you need to start using your maternal instinct and common sense, because it's really not there. Then Brian asked her, does she know a realtor? And Karen's like, I don't know one myself, but I know somebody who does. Over at the law firm, we see Fatima calling Zach to make sure he's okay. Zach is like, yeah, I'm alright. As they're talking, Zach gets a phone call from Karen, and he's very reluctant to answer it. Fatima tells him to answer it because she's been really nice and to see what she wants. Zach answers the phone, and Karen's like, hey Zach, I have something to ask you. You know about real estate, don't you? Zach is like, yeah, I flip houses. Karen's like, well, do you know a realtor? Zach says, yeah, I do. Her name is Valerie. Karen's like, can you give me her number? Zach is like, yeah. Karen's like, thank you. They hang up the phone. Zach calls Fatima back. He tells her that Karen was actually really nice, and Fatima's like, see, I told you, but what does she want though? Zach is like, she wanted my realtor's number. And Fatima's like, why is she buying a house? Zach is like, I don't know. Fatima's like, you better give her that number. Zach is like, she's being really nice though, and that's really strange. Fatima's like, let her be nice, because we trying to keep her in a good space. But you better give her that number. Over at Maurice's, we see Sabrina and Maurice. Sabrina went over there to break the news to him that he's not getting his job back. Maurice is like, whatever you gotta tell me, it better be good. Sabrina's like, well, I do have to talk to you. I had a meeting with Miss Mims, and I'm getting my job back, and I started a new branch on Monday. Maurice is like, okay, I gotta get new clothes and things if I need something to wear, right? Sabrina's like, I got something to tell you. Maurice, they told me that you're not getting your job back. Maurice is like, they know I'm innocent, right? Sabrina's like, yeah, I know. They know that you brought Q back to your house. Maurice is like, that's my personal life. He gets all sad, and he's like, Q is still affecting me to this day. Sabrina's like, you're better off applying at another bank. Maurice is like, I don't want to do that. I want my job back. Sabrina's like, what are you gonna do? Maurice is like, I'm gonna sell my milkshake online. Sabrina's like, no you're not, I'm gonna do all I can to help you. Well, I don't know how much I can do seeing that I'm the assistant manager now. Maurice is like, they demoted you? Sabrina's like, no, they just had another manager in place. But Sabrina lets Maurice know that she will always be there for him, and Maurice is like, thank you. It means a lot after all we've been through. Then we see Andi and Jordan, and they're downstairs at the diner in Andi's office building, and Jordan's like, well, you said I could take you to lunch. I wasn't expecting you here. I was expecting somewhere with tablecloths. Andi's like, don't do me. I carry hot sauce in my bag. Jordan's like, so you can do both. You can go to fancy places and you can go to places like this and carry out the hot sauce. Jordan says, thank you. And Andi's like, for what? Jordan's like, for the way you handled the situation. I know it was painful for you. Andi's like, yeah, but I didn't want your sister to find out like that. She just walked in on us talking, and Jordan's like, my sister really wants to meet with you. Andi's like, I don't know. I'll think about it. People forget that I'm going through this too. I can't believe he was with her while he was with me. Jordan's like, so you really didn't know? Andi's like, no, I'm a smart woman. Andi's like, will me answering her questions really help her though? Jordan's like, I don't know, but she's a data analyst. She analyzes everything, and I just think she wants you to fill in the blanks. Then they both call Gary an asshole. At the airport, we see Tony and Danny talking, and Tony comes up to Danny. He's like, how's everything going? And he's like, it's busy, knowing that nobody was in the airport. Danny's like, I think the airport's going out of business. Tony's like, well, you could come work for us. Danny's like, I can't do that. Tony's like, why? And he's like, because of conflict of interest. Tony's like, what's conflict? And he's like, you and all this constant flirting that. Tony's like, I'll have your back, and I'll even let you be late. Danny's like, Danny was so happy to hear that. Tony said, how would Preston feel about all this? Danny's like, don't even ask, because we're over. Tony's like, so I could ask you on an official date then? Danny's like, yeah. Tony's like, do you want it to be a group date or just me and you? Danny's like, just me and you. Tony's like, I could meet you there or I could pick you up. Danny's like, you could pick me up. I'll send you the address. And I'm like, Danny, haven't you learned your lesson about bringing random men to your house? I guess not. Then we see Sabrina, and she's still at Maurice's, and she calls Danny to let her know that she got her job back. And Danny's like, congratulations. Sabrina's like, well, Maurice didn't get his back. Danny's like, dang, but I'm going on a date with Tony. Sabrina's like, Tony, what happened to Preston? Y'all over? Danny's like, yeah, we over. And as she's saying this, she gets a picture message saying that congratulations in order and that Preston is married. Preston must have told Mindy as soon as he's done with Danny, he's gonna marry her, because it ain't even been 24 hours. And he's already married. Mindy is a better woman than most of us. I know it wouldn't be me. Back at the law firm, Andi's coming back from lunch with Jordan, and as she's walking in, she sees Penelope. Andi's like, I just told your brother that I would think about talking to you. Penelope's like, I know, but I really need to talk to you. Andi, please talk to me. And Andi's like, okay, let's go somewhere and talk. As they're leaving, Gary pops up, and he's like, where you two going? Y'all two going somewhere? Like, this is about to be some mess, and the mess is going to be something that I'm not prepared for. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications. Bye!